What's your assessment of where we are now, given this is around the 39th time Trump has claimed a deal is imminent? Has Trump accomplished anything in these last 105 days of war?
Yeah, what he's accomplished has given Iran even more leverage over the region and over the war. Remember, the Strait of Hormuz was not under their control in any sort of way before this war started. And the reason I believe they were trying to build nuclear weapons in the first place was because they wanted to exert leverage and control. And now they've found other levers to do that. And so now we are in a worse position than when this war began. And the president has not only not fixed his mess, he continues to make it worse. And Iran doesn't trust any of his threats. They're just laughing at him and laughing at us. And, you know, these sorts of ceasefires, fake ceasefires, aren't really making the economy any better in the meantime.
So this war is getting more unpopular the longer it drags on. Does the political pressure of the midterms on Trump give Iran leverage in these negotiations?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the president won in 2024 in part by reinventing himself as a president of peace who would never start forever wars. He said over and over again that he's going to get out of this war quickly, that it's right around the corner, the end is right around the corner. So I believe he feels that pressure, but he also feels the pressure, as you were mentioning earlier, of scrapping the nuclear deal that was struck under Obama because it gave money to Iran, right? Yet to get out of this war and to have any sort of long-term solution involves lifting sanctions or involves letting Iran sell its oil without any sanctions on them. And so we're in a place now where Trump was basically going to have to get a worse deal than we had 10 years ago in order to get out of this war and get into a better political situation.
You had an interesting exchange with Energy Secretary Chris Wright. Let's watch.
Would you agree that to get gas under $3, we need to end the Iran war?
We need to get the flow of oil fully restored through the Strait of Hormuz.
So yes, yes, you would agree that the Iran war would.
What you need is fully to have flows, uninhibited, not meaningfully inhibited flows of energy from the Strait of Hormuz. That is a necessary condition.
Congressman, what did you make of his answer? Because I don't know what he was saying.
I don't think he knew what he was saying. The problem he's having, that was Secretary Wright, and all the members of the cabinet are having, is that they're so afraid of the president firing them the next day that they don't want to say anything or do anything that could possibly be undermining the president. In that case, I was simply asking him, will gas prices go down if this war ends? The obvious answer is correct, but he doesn't want to say anything that could lead to him getting fired, including that ending this war is a good thing. And so there were many other answers just like that. I even asked some questions where the president contradicted him, and he simply didn't want to answer them and sidestepped them the whole time.
Congressman, inflation and gas prices are high, as you well know, and there's the threat of shortages in fuel inventories. As Trump bragged, he spent $250 million worth of bombs on Iran in one night. Do we have any sense of the true cost of this war to the economy?
To the economy, I mean, hundreds of billions, maybe. I mean, it's really hard to quantify. We know that the cost of the war itself, might be coming up in the billions at this point, and maybe 20. They said 1 billion a day potentially. I mean, we're in a spot now where, we're saying to the American people that, we can't afford their health care. We can't afford food assistance. We need to cut essential federal workers, but we can spend tens of billions of dollars in Iran on a forever war that the president promised would never happen. And so the American people are responding to that. That polling clearly shows that. I think they're really angry. I think even people who supported the president for the last 10 years are angry and feel betrayed at this point. But we need Republicans in Congress to vote accordingly, according to what their constituents are saying. Otherwise, they'll be out of power pretty quickly.
Congressman Suha Subramanian of Virginia, thank you very much for coming to The Last Word.